everything golden. Finding your greatest love, your highest adventures, the joy that brings you into the paradise life that you've always wanted to be living. It all starts with you and going deep inside. Featuring Francesca Rose and David Starr, where miracles come true every episode. Here are your hosts. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Welcome to Everything Golden with your hosts, David Starr and Francesca Rose. We're going to get together today to do some special things. I'm going to be dropping into some channeling. We're going to find out what's going to happen in 2025 versus 2026. Things to look out for, things to do, possibly the guidance that's coming in. That will be a little bit later on. But first, we're going to get into spiritual myths. In this segment, we are going to be diving deep into what really makes a spiritual person. It's so silly because everybody's spiritual no matter what, right? But it's funny. But let's talk about the questions here. So I'll ask Fran, we're just going to ask, spiritual people must be sinless. Thoughts?
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough one. Sin means to miss the mark. So what magical mark are we missing?
Let's talk about the sins like in the Bible, like those kind of sins.
Okay. So we're talking about sin in the Bible. So what was the question again?
Spiritual people must be perfect or sinless.
So no one is perfect because that's the whole human experience. If we wanted to be perfect, we wouldn't have left highest heaven. We came here for the duality experience to experience everything that is good, bad, and everything in between. But that's changing. But we'll talk about that later.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, how perfect are you? 10 being 100% perfect spiritually.
Me,
Yeah.
100.
That's like an oxymoron because it's like we're saying that, you don't have to be, nobody is, but I'm 100, baby. But that's the right attitude. I
Yeah,
think I think it helps. It actually does help not to be, because I think a lot of these things, like which would be defined as a sin, like in the Bible, are actually pretty bad things, like cheating and on people and murdering and all these definitive things. But because they do attract what is entities, and entities then can become possession. And in a way, like once you are actually fully in your love, you don't want any of that in your energy, because you realize, hey, wait a sec, we are not that. We are completely love beings, and all this inner work that we're doing, we don't want any entities around us. So for me, it's a personal growth story, evolution, but definitely don't have to be without sin or perfect to, because it's almost impossible unless you're like 100, like Fran. But it's see, I would say if I had to rate myself honestly, out of on a 10 scale, 10 being perfect, I would say probably like a 9.8
Yeah,
from
me too.
sinless or whatever, right? But I wasn't always that way, right? There was a long time where I was like a 4. Let's go to the next myth. You have to meditate to be for hours a day to be spiritual.
No, you don't. Um, I definitely, my whole life is just like a walking meditation. I'm constantly in and out of a meditative state because when you are an evolved human and you have your higher senses online, you're in I believe it's called, if we're being scientific, isn't it the theta state? Or is it, I forget which wave state it is, but I'm in that one where like the psychic people are in constantly. So, being in a meditative state, I'm already aligned with the higher frequency energies. And so, I'm in that different world than most people are in. So it's like I'm in a meditation, but guided meditations are really good when you're starting out your spiritual journey, I think, because they relax you and you can start getting some messages that way. And you definitely don't need hours. Who has that time? My God. Like, I wish I could meditate for hours because I would, because it feels so good to just be in that state. But like, we have lives, like, there's stuff to do.
Yeah, I think there's there's good times and good reasons to meditate, like if something is going on with wrong, for example, or challenging or something that feels off and you're in the thick of it, it's good to step out of it and then sit back. You don't need hours. You can just drop into your heart. This is why we teach heart awareness. Drop into your heart, build the awareness, take a higher perspective, channel some guides, and you're done in a couple of minutes. And so when you maybe in the beginning, you're taking some time and it's 15, 20 minutes and you're really coming into your heart awareness. But once you develop your gifts, and if you didn't know, we have a whole book on how to do it called Your Higher Power book that you can get on Amazon. And once you do that, you'll just take off and a few minutes a day is all you need, but certainly you can take more if you're going to a real deep dive. All right, so only certain people can be spiritual, gurus, monks, priests.
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Um, I think that I would rather, be baptized by somebody in a higher frequency who's bringing in higher frequency love, and blessings from the higher realms and the higher frequencies because they're reaching into a higher heart of God energy, right? Um, like if we're comparing, if we're comparing, and I mean monks and the yogis. I think it's amazing what they do for detachment and not attracting entities, not attaching to karma and that kind of stuff. That's great. But that only works for a very small percentage of the population.
Mhm.
And everybody is of God. Okay, go ahead. You're next.
Yeah, we're all, like I always say, eternal, unlimited source creational beings, and we're having this like awesome human experience, but we're already all spiritual beings. And, everything that we're seeing is a projection of what's going on the inside, a divine mirror. So everybody is already a spiritual being. So you don't need, um, everyone's just equal and as special as the next person.
Exactly. It's so funny all these myths that people have and these ideas and these it's great that we're having this conversation. All right, so you must renounce material things to be spiritual.
I think that, spiritual things, you can't take this, like, you can't take material things with you. Like you always say, you take your memories, you take your life experiences. I'd much rather have a life experience and make memories with my kids going on a trip or going with my girlfriends out to dinner or getting like massages and services done, than buying a bunch of junk that doesn't mean anything. But I don't think that, you have to get rid of possessions. You just realize once you are more in tune with your pure God energy, you really don't need all this stuff. It's useless. What matters is the memories.
Someone who is say at one of those temples in Tibet, um but they'll be detached and they wear the homeless clothes and so they go around um, and search for the people who to give them because they want to be completely detached, completely in trust with the universe. But that that does work off of the fruits and the labors of those who work. And this
Mhm.
is what my problem with it, with that whole like renouncing material things. If you're relying on the kindness and compassion of everybody else, all you're doing is other people are working so you don't have to. And in my opinion, I don't think that's morally correct. I like the argument that there's people who help people expand their hearts. And I just think that there should be more of a focus on a giving nature in general, and more of a unity and a humanitarian in general as a general population. People should just be kind, but you don't have to renounce things, and you don't have to not do things or charge prices for your services, or not work because you're fighting against 3D. All you're doing is you're fighting against yourself, and you're struggling, and then you go into struggling consciousness. So I have a lot of like things around this because ultimately I don't think anybody should have to pay for anything, and there's enough abundance around the planet. And right now we're living in a system where there's like 25 people who have as much money as 50% of the population, the bottom 50%, but still it's grossly out of proportion. And right now we're not allocating our resources properly. And this is why a few people spoil it for the entire population. But these are the people and the reasons why we came to the planet to break the consciousness free. This
But I
pod,
think we're
yeah,
we're happier though when we're in synergetic flow with everybody where we're giving and receiving and that's in alignment. I think that
yeah,
it
exactly.
happens a lot. Like I did it for years. I never charged anyone anything for years, but I came to realize like people weren't respecting my time and my energy that
Yeah.
I'm a busy human, like, and I have children and my kids are just so important that, I got to the point where, you know, there had to be synergetic flow because I'm putting so much energy out there. And I feel like when you're in synergetic flow with the giving and receiving, you even get better messages because it's just in a beautiful like God flow when you are paying someone for their services and they're giving you what your spirit needs in exchange.
All right. Well, we are definitely going on with these questions. Okay, spirituality is all love and light.
You can go first, Mr. Shadow Work.
It was all love and light until I found my shadow and realized, oh crap, I have all of these lifetimes that I have to heal, all of this wounding, and then that was a journey of many, many years deep diving, and it even still comes up a little bit here and there. But in the beginning, ooh, but I tell you, there's nothing that raises your frequency faster than doing the inner work. It is like the craziest elevator to God, essentially. Because what happens is you release all of the shadows, and the bright things that was behind the shadow, which is your true light, starts shining and beaming through, which was that fog or that density that was where the karmic energy that you get to release. And so, yeah, there's a lot of love and light about it, but there's definitely the dark night of the soul will hit everybody at one point, likely, I think.
Yeah, I didn't even know that there was a shadow side because, like, before I met you, I was just into love and light, but I still had all these negative things that I didn't even realize I had inside of me that were like so pushed down and buried. And I was caught in like this cycle and I wasn't expanding very quickly until into the God constructs until I did the shadow work. You would post about it. I'm like, what is this magical shadow work and why am I not partaking in it? And I just started doing the shadow things. And the crazy thing was that there's so much light trapped in the darkness that we need to release. And like, if you'll remember, that's how we figured out we had to shoot like the light into the trees because I couldn't ground every time I would do the shadow work. I would release so much light within me that I thought like I thought I was going to like turn into a light being and not
Yeah.
be here the next day. And you had to help me to ground that light into the grid so that we could send that light to everybody on the planet.
All right. So if you're spiritual, you can't get angry or feel negative emotions. Go ahead.
I think that, you know, once you get into the God constructs within yourself, you really don't experience those negative emotions as frequently. And eventually, I don't think we'll experience negative emotions at all eventually. But everybody experiences negativity sometime. But the more spiritual work that I did to unwind everything that is not God energy, really, I'm a very positive person, and it's very rare that I'm not positive. And, you know, my reality reflects a bunch of positive, nice, happy, shiny people, honestly. And I really don't see the things that other people see because I don't watch negative programming. And I don't feel like that's where we get into, you know, living our sacred space and, you know, just feeding yourself with positive things. But, you know, we've all experienced negativity, especially in the beginning of our journey. We're all so programmed and conditioned and wounded and hurt by the things. Even the wealthiest people in the world, they didn't come in here without having wounding too and scars. And you know, people, even to Elon Musk, people were so mean to him. Um, like when he was young because he was smarter than everyone. Even, you know, the most brilliant people, they had to endure some type of hardship and torture, but it's your responsibility once you hit a certain age to heal and to align with your God energy and figure out who you really are.
Yeah. And also not to take everybody's words into your heart, especially the critics and the and people who they're not your family, they're not your friends, and they start saying some things and you get upset about them. Who are they to say that? And you get angry and because you took other people's words into your heart. You put boundaries up into place and, expectations in friendships and relationships. Hey, this really upsets me. If you say this and if you're going to keep saying this, I'm not going to be your friend. Vice versa in a relationship. If you keep doing this, I'm not going to be in this relationship. Because if there are attacks onto you, you have to have that self-love and these boundaries and stuff so that you don't get angry. So in one way, you're doing all this inner work so that you can release the bad energy out of you, right? But then another way, you're learning what self-love is, because the bad energy is keeping you away from your heart. And so as you let it go, you come into love, loving unconditionally, loving yourself more and more and more and more. That love is flowing. You don't want to be out of that. You don't want to be out of that because that is your God energy. You don't want to be out of the God energy. And so there's people coming along that are bullying and putting you into a negative space. If they're strangers, don't, and you don't know them, forget about it. Don't even let that into your heart. Skeptics, who cares? They're not in your life. Don't let their words in your heart because as soon as you let the words into your heart, that's it. Then you're going to start feeling the negative, depression, upset, insecure, and those kind of feelings.
But we also, to add to that, is we train people how to treat us by our boundaries and what we're willing to take. And I learned that that was a hard life lesson.
All right. So going on to the last question before we get into the channeling part of it. All spiritual practices are safe.
No, all spiritual practices are not safe. Um, you know, if you're following someone that is not in their God light and they're telling you to do certain things, you're going to go into the lower dimensional constructs. You're going to go into negative energy. So the best thing to do is ask your heart before you do any spiritual practice. And if it feels good to your heart, you're safe.
Ouija boards. definitely not.
No way. No freaking way. I'll run.
Voodoo,
No. Love spells.
you gotta watch out for those love spells.
You're gonna make yourself fall in love with someone instead of you making them fall in love with you. This happened to one of my friends, and she became obsessed instead of him, and it was a bad relationship. You got to watch those love spells. They're bad.
Channeling without sacred space, without your pillar of light, bad idea.
Yeah.
Because then you're not connected and you could just be channeling any energy that's not of
Hmm.
love. Having intentions on what you are channeling, very important because then
Yeah.
your that intention flows, right? You flow to the intention. So sacred space, we teach all about that as well in our book. I've never stopped doing it, and I always do it. And I've actually gotten to the point in group events or one-to-ones for many, many years now, where I set up my sacred space before I even get on the Zoom call, um, because I want the energy clear before I accept everybody into the room or the person who's in the session, so that I don't have any issues because I can't tell you how many times it's way too many to even think of before I did this, where some kind of negative energy jumped out of the screen and then I had to deal with it. And it was super annoying because then it's like 10, 15 minutes of this session, you're dealing with some energy that don't even want. That was a surprise because you didn't have your sacred space set up. So yeah, no, it's absolutely 100% sacred space you need. And we definitely have some of the best information on your higher power book, how to do that. All these topics are actually pretty good. Pretty
They're
good, yeah, I'll say.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah, and they get you talking, that's for sure. So what, because I'm going to go to Christ for this channeling, just because Christ is always my go-to for the purest and best
do you want me to
information.
ask you some questions, or you just going to go straight into channeling?
Just tell me what the questions are.
What challenges will Starseeds face in 2025 and 26? 2025, 2026. Do you see anything with the Starseeds?
Darcy's face in 2025, 2026. All right, and then there's more questions, right?
Yeah, what's the best advice to overcome this, whatever you see with the Starseeds?
Okay.
And when will contact start in a more meaningful way? I mean, we already, obviously, me, David, and a bunch of people in the spiritual community, we are already having open contact interdimensionally with beings. But when do you think that there'll be contact where everybody is able to see it in their awareness?
Okay.
And then I have a couple more. Do you want to wait or?
No, I'll write them down first. Be easier for me.
Okay. Um, what is lacking from people coming into their full God power? Like, do you see like a disconnect, something? What is lacking from people coming into their full God power?
Okay.
And then I thought we could talk a little bit about the higher octave event. What is the secret to abundance in the new higher octaves? Maybe we could throw in a little preview there. And then any additional advice you have for star seeds or earth angels or the little fairies that, are filtering through all our hearts, whoever you randomly, whatever group you identify as, maybe you can get a message for them.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna.
Okay.
All right. All right. So first, I start with the breaths work, raising the frequency, calling in Christ, Yeshua to guide, re-amplifying the connection in sacred space and the pillar, breathing in the light. All right, so I'm asking Christ here, what in 20, hold on, what challenges will Starseeds face in 2025 and 2026? It is to be open, it is to be clear, it is to be without worry, it is to be without feelings of remorse, feelings of envy, feelings of lust, feelings of insecurity. It is to find the heaven within self. It is to find the way into your heart. It is to find the way into your truth. And then there will be no worries, and then there will be no fears, then there will be no suffering. This triumphant timeline where you're coming into the greatest light is an opportunity to grow, it is an opportunity to advance, it's an opportunity to let go in a higher frequency, to receive higher energies, higher love, higher bodies for your destiny and roles on earth, for all that you're doing to assist. It will be greater, it will be abundant, it will be more as the higher frequencies allow for more to be received. You will be receiving more frequencies. You'll be receiving more light. And as you expand into these frequencies, as you expand into this light, you will receive more abundance. You will receive more opportunities. You will receive more growth. So it is for you to be within self, within your heart, within your love, within your unity, within your trust, within God, within self at all times. It is to practice the alignment of love within your hearts at all times, to be in this truth, to be without worry, to be without envy, to be without lust, to be without fears, to be without, and to be within your heart, to be within your love, to be within your divine connection fully. Are you ready to receive? The years 2025, 2026 are coming into the highest frequencies that Earth has ever experienced since the time of Lemuria. And it is rising within the hearts, this crystallizing process within your frequencies, within your DNA. Things are shifting, things are evolving genetically, enriching with the information that is coming through from the higher octaves, from the higher frequencies. It is coming through into your cells. It is coming through to evolve your senses, to evolve your perceptions, your awarenesses, and your gifts and your abilities are awakening into a greater awareness, into a greater spectrum. So it is to continue to receive. It is to continue to embody. It is to continue to explore your consciousness, and you will receive more because more is coming in. And so, if you are in a shell, a container, a way of being where you are closed, where you are shut down, where you are not open to the light of love, where you are not open into your heart. It will be difficult. It will be difficult because those who are will receive more. When those who are closed, when those who are not trying, when those who are not receiving the light of the heavens, the light of the angels, they are more difficult for the angels and for the heavens to work through because they are closed. They are not open. They are not in the awareness of, although we are working and all is working for all and for everyone, it is more difficult for to expand in a lack of awareness and in a lack of receiving consciousness. And so it is important to be in receiving consciousness in 2025, 2026, and beyond. For this is the answer to all dreams coming true and is to be in the receiving energies, the receiving consciousness in the divine light and expanding further, raising higher, connecting more within your divinity teams, more within your new frequencies, reaching into the newer spectrums so that you may embody and receive even more. Okay, so I'm going to go into, so he gave us the best advice to overcome already. When will ET contact? When will ET contact occur? It is occurring, it has occurred, and it will continue to expand as the frequencies are expanding. There are many races in higher octaves, in higher frequencies that are looking to reach out. The further that those who are embodying the higher frequencies, they will have contact first. Those who are in higher frequencies will have contact before those who are in lower frequencies because these dimensional beings, the majority of the support of the alliance are from the higher spectrums, are from the higher frequencies that are dropping down to meet you into a lower spectrum that you are to assist you, to attune you, to raise you up. This is why the dream state is a choice state for them to meet and contact and connect with. It is easier in your astral body and into your form, into the mind connection of the interaction of energy that is happening in sleep state. This is why it happens. But those who are raising the frequencies higher into the higher planes, into the higher frequencies, will receive more contact. And so it is a transitionary time of embodying and receiving this more. So it is important to continue to expand. It is not done. It is not complete. The ascension is not complete. You're only entering in the beginning of what is the integration phase for the ascension to occur. All of these higher octaves and frequencies, they must be integrated further and expanded more before all of the awakening that is prophesied this year. This is why the event that you are doing is so important. This is why the higher octave event you are doing is going to have great collective impact, as it is going to put people into a higher receiving energy. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Um, what is lacking from people coming into their full God power? What is lacking from people coming into their full God power? The mind, the perceptions, the identity, the where do you fit in to the spectrum of the creator that you are? Where do you fit in into the arms, into the embrace, into divinity? What is limiting you from believing in your heart, in your gifts, in your power? That is the biggest thing that is preventing all from advancing to the higher levels. It is belief, it is the mind, it is the perceptions, and it is to remove these ideas of perfection, of steps, of modalities, of interference out and be in the light of the Heavenly Father and the Mother of all. Be in the light of your divine pillar, of your divine self. Be in the light and grace of compassion, of love for all things, for your journey, for everyone's journey. Be in the frequencies that are transforming your frequency. This is where the inner work journey, it is still important. It is still important because it helps you to get out of the mind. It helps you to get out of the ego by letting go of energies that are destructive, that are lower, that are blocking your highest potentialities of frequencies to come through. So it is important to be in the awareness of the love and the heart of your creator, of the light that you are, and accepting yourself as this, accept yourself as this, accept yourself as this, accept all as this. And when you are in this, then you are in your faith. Then you are in your divinity, in your divine flow. And then you can begin a journey of expansion, a journey of awareness, a journey of healing, and a journey of growth that will be limitless only to your beliefs. Um, okay, so what is the secret of abundance in the higher octaves? What is the secret of abundance in the higher octaves? You laughing? Why is it funny? It is not to think of it as a secret. It is to think of it as being in unity, being in oneness, being the manifestation of love in your life and in other lives, and attracting that which you are being by being this. That is the truth of receiving in all. It is in the unity and the oneness of the highest love where you will receive more of the highest love. And that is where the alignment is coming into all who are ascending. It is being in love more and receiving more gratitude and receiving more happiness and receiving more abundance. Yes, even monetary abundance, but by doing that is which is in love with your life and heart and dreams in the higher octaves. Because money is not meaningful if you are missing happiness, joy, love, balance, and a growing heart. And that is why we were laughing, because it is a question about money generally for those, but it should be a question of receiving more love. And how can you receive more love and manifest? And it is through the unity and in the heart and in the higher octaves of love consciousness and being the manifestation of this love by being in this love, and thus then attracting all that is love and receiving that much more, and the happiness and the memories and the things that you will always cherish in your heart. That is the true monetary system, because that is the divine experience. All right, anything else that you want to? Yes, we would like to share counsels to call upon your angelic counsels, to call upon your guardian angels to assist you, to open, to expand, to connect you to the higher frequencies, to expand, to receive that which is love, to be in a higher version, to call upon the union of all of heaven, the union of all of the angels, all who are on your guide teams to come to assist you to be in a higher version, to guide you to be in a higher frequency, in a higher light in your days, all days. Throughout the day, not just once a day, but many times, to call and develop this relationship with us to assist. So where we collaborate, where we will help, where we will help. And when you come and when you call upon, then it shall come and present itself upon you, and it shall become part of your journey. In this, we are working with you and not against you. And so it is to call upon so that you receive. Without calling upon, it is similar to being closed, where you are wondering when and why and how come. It is to call upon and to be open and to receive and to ask for assistance and to connect to the guides, as we said, with the unity you shall receive more, to be more in love, to be more in love. And so it is to call upon that which is going to make you more in love with your journey, in love with your timeline, in love with your relationships, in love with yourself. Call upon this and let the abundance flow through, and we will assist. And that is all. And that is channeling. Wow. Okay. Whew.
Wow, that was powerful. I'm like, whew.
Thank you, Christ. Always thank you. Okay. That was good.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that was awesome.
Okay.
It was just so much I'm integrating and processing right now. Like I think I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. It
Right.
was I could just feel the energy though. Like I really got like you definitely gave us like a it felt like a high heart like activation. Did you feel that?
Well, it's because I went into the higher octaves because I wanted to channel Christ in the higher octaves and the higher frequencies. And for that, I go through the higher heart up to the higher
Okay.
heavens and stuff. And so that would make
My
sense.
heart's like exploding right now. I'm like, oh, that was definitely like a higher heart activation in there.
Amazing. That was some good advice.
Yeah.
And that's it. It was funny how he was laughing. He never laughs
Yeah.
when because I'm asking him a question and he starts laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? And so like I'm smiling because I'm so connected to him that I'm picking up on his like his laughter and his like and it's really funny. Like he's like hilariously laughing inside of himself and giggling like a young
Isn't
person
it
giggles.
awesome, like when we're channeling, how we get the energy of whatever or whoever we're channeling? Like we get to feel the way they feel at the moment or the way that
Yeah.
they've felt. I love that. Like it's that's why I like to channel certain things more than other certain things because of the energy you get with the different guides.
Yeah. Absolutely. And and it helps you grow and advance and like everybody when like getting blasted with like Christ's heart energy and the higher octaves as a challenge, we all get an upgrade and an energetic benefit out of that, and it lifts everybody up. Like it's like a cosmic heavenly bath of love. Like it's just
Yeah, you're opening the doorway to the higher octave love and, it's streaming through you, but you're grounding it because you were grounded you're grounding it into all the grids for everybody to feel. So
Yeah.
that's what's cool going into the higher octaves.
All right. Well, let's have a little bit of silly time here. So
It's
let me
my
get
favorite
to
part.
little rapid question round. All right. Do you have a totally non-Zed habit you refuse to give up?
Me? Or do you
Yeah.
want to go first? You go
No,
first.
you go first.
Oh man. Yeah, I frequent the Medi Spa. And it's zen for me. Um, but I'm in the beauty industry, so we like to get a lot of things done like laser to our skin and just to make the skin look more beautiful, stuff like that. So
But
I'm
that's
not
that's
gonna,
that's sort of like Zen though, because like you're lifting yourself up and all right.
yeah, but
So
you wouldn't
okay, now we're
consider it. It's
we're
kind
looking
of,
for bad habits here. We're looking for a bad habit that you refuse to give up.
I've given up, I've literally given up everything. I've even given up dark chocolate. I'm trying to think oh, this is a really bad habit. I check my messenger on Facebook a lot,
Hmm.
but it's because I'm helping people, but like I check it probably like 50 times a day just for like 3 seconds, but still.
And this is why you're a 9.9 and I'm a 9.7
Oh,
because I cannot give up pizza.
that's my
I mean,
favorite.
pineapple, a vegetarian, so pineapple, I usually get pineapple, onions, and tomatoes. I just
Um,
love that combination.
yeah.
Um,
Pizza's like the best food in the world. It was my favorite food.
I have it
And
like once a week for sure. I have pizza for sure once a week, and
yeah, cheese is
uh,
the hardest thing to give up, but
I've let go of a like I used to have a crazy compassion obsession with coffee, always having coffee every single day, and now I can have it or tea. I'm not dependent, and I don't rush out like I absolutely have to get it or whatever. But some days I'll have coffee, but so I guess but before
I've given up
I would have like
coffee.
2 or 3 cups a day. Like I'd go out, I'd have a Starbucks, I'd have a Tim's, and I'd have a Tim's later, and I,
Tim's, we don't have a Tim's. What's that?
it's like another coffee place. It's a
Oh, really?
it's big in Canada. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I'm
It's kind
sad I never tried it before I gave up the coffee. That was out of all my habits, giving up caffeine was my hardest to break, but my guides, they were insistent that it keeps you in lower vibrational energy because it does something to the nervous system to I forget exactly what they said. I have it written somewhere, but they kept telling me, and then I started getting panic attacks like from the caffeine. But I was heavily addicted to caffeine. I was like drinking dopios, like it's double shots of espresso, black, like it was water. I would drink. I just instead of drinking water, I just have black coffee like all day. Like I loved it. I lived for coffee. It was definitely the best part of waking up for me was smelling coffee and drinking it. But if I could give that up, anyone can give anything up. It was brutal. It took me a year to be unaddicted to like I was like ugh, like so groggy for a year. I'm just like I want caffeine.
yeah. That's why I still have it sometime.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
noticed
it's
that though. I
fine.
noticed the groggy levels have increased the less coffee that I have. That is for
Yeah,
sure.
everything in moderation.
Okay, next
Like
question. This is a rapid question here. All right, so what emoji would Jesus use?
the heart for sure.
You don't think he'd be like a like cross-legged and like floating guy or something? Is that even an emoji?
No, definitely the heart, because
Definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
for
Jesus is
sure.
all about the love.
If your spiritual journey had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh man, this is a hard one. Florence and the Machine circuit board because she talks about being in love with the wrong world, and I'm obsessed with the spirit realm.
Mm.
So definitely that one.
I did do the power of love That's the power of love. And they made a whole music video about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, and I was holding up signs and pretending to be a homeless guy saying we're all one. So it would have to be that song. That's the
Yeah.
power of love. Dude.
Huey Lewis in the News.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of my
Uh,
favorites as a child.
who's your favorite spirit guide?
Mine,
Yeah.
Mother God.
Ah, so mine's Christ. What's the most unexpected way a guide has tried to contact you?
My guides, they have theme songs. So when they come in, usually they come in on a song like Archangel Ariel, the Little Mermaid theme will play did it did 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 it did, and then I get a message. I don't know why. It's just something.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's fun. What about you?
Um, the most unexpected way? Um, I was definitely in my bath having a bath and totally naked in the bath, and all of a sudden Christ shows up with and then there's this big tall cat human person with long hair. Actually, like it didn't have like lion mane per se, but it looked like a lion. It actually had like long hair, like almost like human um like a human lion and white skin, furry, a little bit not as furry as like a lion. And so and feet and hands and everything like a human is really like what? And so Christ comes in and I'm looking at Christ and I'm having a bath and I look at this and I can see it with my two eyes like very clearly. I'm looking at this lyran being and I'm looking at Christ and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" He goes, "Oh, I just wanted to introduce you to one of your aspects." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Yeah, this is you in a past life and stuff and I just wanted to introduce you. You can have a conversation, get to know each other." And I'm like, "All right." It goes, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go now." And I'm like, and then so Christ goes, and the Lyran's still there. So then I'm connecting hearts with the Lyran. I'm having this conversation about, how like he was like many, many like thousands of years ago. And he's talking to me about his family and just we're just talking about our families really. And um, I was having a conversation with myself from the past. It's weird, but yeah, that was definitely unexpected for sure.
That's
But
cool. I remember one time you talked about one of your guides. It was another Larian guide, and it was a girl, and she was like grabbing your hand, like at the movie theater. Do you remember that? You told everybody on like a
I
live.
think so. I think so. I do
I
remember
was like,
that.
what the devil?
Yeah, I have a real good connection with those Lyrans, I tell you.
Yeah.
They have out of all the galactics from in my experience, and I've connected with many galactics, they have the biggest heart energy out of all the galactics. It is the craziest heart energy that I've ever experienced. And so it brings me a lot of happiness connecting to them.
Yeah, I like.
They were helping out humans like big
Mhm.
time in the beginning, like and that's why you have like Sekhmet as in Egypt and one of the temples and everything like that.
That's cool. I like the Martians. They're fun. They're cute.
How does your intuition speak to you?
You go.
Wow. I usually use it when I'm making decisions, and so it's like if I got to decide things, and I feel into it. Um, and but it's evolved like ever since I started channeling, it's like all of a sudden now like I rely on it, like and so like instead of like making all the decisions myself, I'll connect with my guides now and I'll talk to them about it and what else should I do and what else and so I sort of like I have this more like co-collaborative way of living these days and stuff. So less I'm relying less on my intuition.
Mhm.
And I'm dependent. I'm dependent, which is probably not a good thing. But what about you?
I'm definitely a feeler ever since I was young. Like my intuition, I'm a body channel, so I can feel everything with every sense. But so I initially feel it. If something's off, I feel it like within a split second. But then now, just like you, I have a whole collective that animates me basically, and they'll tell me right off the bat, like, in the rare occasion where I'm going to do something stupid, like eat a grape or something at the grocery store, they'll be like, don't do that. It's still stealing. Like, even though it's one grape. And, like and I'll be like, oh, like, or if like I were to eat one, I'd tell them to add one on. I ate it. You know what I mean? Like, just like even like the silliest of things, like I'm immediately counseled, basically, like, you don't want to do that. That's going to lower your vibration. And I can see now as things have evolved, like the energy between me, people, and situations. So I see it on omni levels, I feel like.
The awareness and when you're able to tune in and like
Hmm.
and sense and feel like
Yeah. It
it's
used to
you
be
you you know
anxiety.
you know when there's
Hmm.
not truth and when somebody's saying not truth or when they're coming from a place of like this ego and there's just something often not right. But I had a lot of fun today. So
Me
what a
too.
so we started off, we had a great conversation on myths, we had a channeling, these rapid fire questions. Any final words that you can think of for the audience?
Um, Happy Earth Day.
Ah, yes, it's Earth Day today.
Yes, everybody thank Gaia for everything that she does. When you send her love, she sends love back to you. Um, don't litter. Keep Earth beautiful. She's one of the most beautiful planets on creation, and just do your part and be good to her because she gives us everything that we could ever need. And I think we take the planet for granted. As
Yeah.
we ascend, she feels better. She feels
Well,
more
yeah,
blissful.
because like even though technically speaking, she's still running timelines, this timeline that we are on right now is healing the timelines that she's running still that people are participating in when because there's still a lot of people playing out in past lives. Like I know it's weird to think of that like souls from the future, for example, could that are 1,000 years into the future can go 1,000 years into our past and experience the time of Christ if they want to, or whatever it is that they want to. Dinosaurs, it doesn't matter. They can experience whatever it is that is in alignment with their soul growth. And some are in for one life, some get stuck in the cycles. That sucks. All right, well, we are going to sign off. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you share out and let your friends know about all of this amazing stuff that is happening in our podcast. We're going to be coming out with more and more and more um, throughout these years. We're going to be a crutch for a lot of people. We're going to help a lot of people expand and just by listening to us, you expand. Our frequencies together are unbelievable. So just by listening, you actually get activated and expand. You got to think of it in terms of like how all the ETs, how Christ, how all the angels have expanded us over the years and attuned us. So you get the benefit of that frequency of two people who are like fully dedicated, fully committed on their divine path that are sacrificing most things, maybe not pizza, but most things. Well, Fran is right,
Yeah.
but it's like two for their frequency, and so the quantum entanglement that you get from being here is likely the highest than wherever else you will go on the planet.
Until we're all in our God consciousness, we're here. We're here till that
Yes.
God moment.
We're gonna be like 90 years old. Welcome to Everything
No, it's coming.
Golden. Let me just put my dentures in. Hold on for the sunny. Okay. All right. Let's do a meditation.
We got this, crew.
No, I think we'll hit the ascension before that.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming next
Yeah,
couple years.
exactly. All right, well, we're signing out, so we send our love and gratitude, and
All
we'll
right.
see you on the next
Love you
episode.
all. Thanks.
Bye. Everything golden. Finding your greatest love, your highest adventures, the joy that brings you into the paradise life that you've always wanted to be living. It all starts with you and going deep inside. Everything golden. Be featuring Francesca Rose and David Starr, where miracles come true every episode.